Minister, while I certainly welcome the fact that Clara Fire Station has now been placed on the Department's construction project list, I wanted to proceed with this topical issue tonight in order to obtain as much clarity as possible around the whole area of funding for this fire station. We can all give any number of examples of capital projects and indeed local construction projects throughout this state that have been signed off and approved by various departments, only then to see those infrastructure projects wait and wait before any work commences. I think in particular of many school projects where unanticipated rises in construction inflation costs, for instance, have delayed works and caused much frustration in communities. Will you be able, Minister, to provide an assurance here tonight to the community of Clara, who need this new fire station, and to me, that the capital funding allocated to Clara Fire Station will increase if construction costs increase? I know and I accept project management is complex, and that, as ministers always point out, it is inevitable that there will be some delays to some projects in any given year. But I also understand that the purpose of facilitating capital carryover is to allow, within reason, funding tied to projects to move smoothly from one year to the next. I'm just concerned, Minister, that while funding may have been approved and signed off to much fanfare, it may also in time become bogged down in a reapplication process if costs rise. And that's what I want avoided, because I don't want the people of Clara waiting any longer for this new fire station than they should have to wait. Clara badly needs a fire station constructed as soon as possible, and it needs guarantees that the department will support the project financially until it is over the line and operational. And I do hope that real progress will be made to deliver and replace the old fire station, which has served the community for decades, but which is no longer fit for purpose, and that this new fire station will be built as soon as possible.
And again, just to thank Deputy Nolan for raising the issue of the new fire station at Clara in County Offaly today. The provision of a fire service in its functional area, including the establishment and maintenance of a fire brigade, the assessment of fire cover needs, and the provision of the fire station premises is a statutory function of individual fire authorities under the Fire Services Act of 1981. My department supports fire authorities through setting general policy and progressing legislation, providing a central training programme, issuing guidance on operation and other related matters, and providing capital funding support for equipment and priority infrastructural projects. In December 2020, the Minister for Housing, Local Government and Heritage announced a new fire services capital programme for the period 2021 to 25, with a funding allocation of €61 million. Following extensive engagement with fire authorities, a number of infrastructural proposals were received. The proposals were evaluated and prioritised on the basis of the area risk categorisation of the fire station, established health and safety needs, state of development of the project, i.e. if the preferred site had been acquired, and the value for money offered by the proposal. That programme was envisaged to see 6 new fire stations built, continued support for the construction of a further 12, 9 fire station refurbishments, as well as allocation of 35 new fire engines. In order to maximise the available capital programme funding, my department can reassess the status of projects in the programme on an annual basis, and some flexibility is normally available to advance projects that are ready and offer best value for money, taking account of the state of readiness of the projects more generally. Any proposal received by my department requesting further support from the Fire Services Capital Programme is considered with regard to national priorities and totality of requests from fire authorities countrywide. Project consideration stages in my department include submissions of preliminary and detailed appraisal, submission of design briefs, selection of site, application for approval in principle, appointment of design consultant, submission of preliminary design planning application, and cost plan, tender process and construction stages. Offaly County Council has previously indicated that the replacement of Clara Fire Station and the development, extension and upgrade works to the Tullamore BA Training Centre and the Tullamore Central Fire Station were the priority projects for Offaly Fire and Rescue Service. In September of this year, my department approved Offaly County Council to accept a tender in excess of €3.8 million for the redevelopment of works at the Tullamore Fire Services Training Centre, and contracts were signed earlier this year, and that project is now in construction phase. All projects in the capital programme may be reassessed on an annual basis to maximise available capital programme funding. I think that's the question you're asking. Priority may be adjusted to bring forward projects offering best value for money and to take account of the state of readiness of projects based on ongoing engagement with local authorities in respect to prioritisation. The Clara Fire Station project was not initially included in the Minister's Fire Services Capital Programme 2021-25. However, as an interim measure, the Council had taken steps to show the readiness of the Clara Fire Station project and increase the potential for capital funding to be granted should that possibility arise. Given the excellent progression to date of the Fire Services Capital Programme that has seen the completion of 6 fire stations, with several other priority projects in the build phase and others nearing final planning, the decision to accommodate the proposed new Clara Fire Station project within Fire Services Capital Programme 2021-25 was taken in October of this year. I'll come back in on a supplementary.
Minister, I thank you for your response, and indeed, as you rightly say, Offaly County Council did have input into this whole, I suppose, project and getting it brought forward, which was fantastic to see, and I welcome that wholeheartedly. I know that certainly the fire crew in Clara will be very happy with the news that it is now on the programme. But I know you refer to the fact that priority is given to value for money projects, and that makes sense. But my concern is that should costs arise when the yearly reassessment is being carried out, are those costs allowed for, is what I'm saying. Because what I don't want to see happening is that this project is moved down the list. It has to happen. It really does, because the current fire station, as I stated earlier, is no longer fit for purpose. It's been there for decades and it really is past its time. So what I don't want to see, and I suppose what I am seeking, is definite reassurance that this project will remain as a top priority project, and that should costs arise, that when the yearly reviews are being done, that Clara will remain at the top of the list and that it won't be moved down further. And that's really my concern, is to get those reassurances. Thank you.
Just by way of reassurance, that Offaly County Council have made significant progress, and they have indicated that the current Clara Fire Station is located on a confined site with an insufficient footprint, preventing the prospect of an upgrade or extension works due to the current fire station site. Department officials have linked with the Council on the availability on the Council's preferred site location at Raheen in Clara. Offaly County Council had previously published tenders for a lead design consultant to oversee the design, planning and construction of the new fire station at Clara in June 2021, seeking to engage a single firm of design consultants to deliver and manage the project through planning and detailed design, as well as tendering and the supervising of actual construction. The Department have conveyed approval to progress the project to full design and cost appraisal stage, and the Council are currently progressing the project through the appointment of design consultants. In view of the recent inflation costs in construction sector, the Council were advised to ensure that the design and specification for the proposed new fire station do not exceed the minimum necessary for provision of a fire station and associated facilities at Clara. Offaly County Council have indicated their capacity and intention to progress this project quickly. So I think, Deputy, it does offer reassurance there in terms of the progress of the project. I think that element around the constraints around the costs, I think, is significant, and I'm sure that is part of the design brief, not to exceed costs. But and I think it is within the capacity of the local authority to deliver that within budget. So I hope that gives some reassurance that this project will proceed as planned.